creature collector. My partner, Max, and I have been running a gardening business together for the past few years. Every day we go out to a different house and pretty up the gardens to the client's liking. Some days are better than others. It typically depends on the client we're working for, and whatever it is that they want us to do that day. The property we're working at today just happens to be Max's favorite place to work at, not because she especially likes the client, or that the work is particularly easy, rather that there's always something interesting to be found in the garden. The house itself is rather ordinary, a boring yellow with nothing conspicuous about the structure, but the garden is beautiful and the location couldn't be better. I'm underneath a sago palm, clipping the leaves that have turned yellow when Max comes running up to me. "Look," she says, "I found something." I crawl out from under the palm and stand up to see her hands cupped together. "What is it?" She opens her hands to reveal a tiny snake. "It's a little guy," she says, handing it to me. The snake wriggles around in my hands. It has no idea what's going on. "Strange-looking worm. It's a little ring neck," she tells me. "What do you want to do with it?" I ask, already knowing the answer. "We're going to take him home, and I'm going to build a little house for him." That's what I thought. I pour out my water bottle, fill it with some soil from the garden, take out my pocket knife and poke a few holes in the lid. This isn't the first time I've done this. I put the little ring neck inside and hand the bottle back to Max. "Worm secured for transport," I report. "Thank you," she smiles. "Do you have another water bottle?" "'Cause that was my last one." Whenever we find a critter while we're out gardening, Max always wants to take it home and keep it as a pet. This house just happens to be located right off the riverbank, making the garden here the perfect environment for critters to inhabit. Every time we work here, Max finds another snake, toad, or lizard to bring home. After we get home that evening, I pull an old glass tank out of the closet. This will make for a decent terrarium for the little snake. We've been collecting fish tanks, containers, and all sorts of things to build terrariums for all the creatures Max brings home. Max fills the tank with soil, sticks, and a random assortment of other knickknacks for decoration. The snake needs to have a nice home after all. I try to get to my feet, but can't even get to my knees. With what little strength I have, I slowly worm my way towards her. With each passing second, the screeching sounds further away. The shaking calms until it finally stops altogether. Everything is quiet. Finally, I reach Max. I flop over on the ground next to her. There's nothing I can do for her, only watch and wait, hoping she'll wake up. I lay watching for minutes until her eyes flutter open. She's alive. She lifts her head and looks around confused. "What happened?" Max asks. "It was Lucy," the words struggling to escape my mouth. "She saved us. She kicked their asses." "Where, Lucy now?" "Chasing them away, making sure they stay gone." After a long stay in the hospital, Max and I eventually make our way back home. Our house is in the same sorry state it was left in. We spend days cleaning up all the mess, sweeping up sand and glass, and throwing out any destroyed furniture that's beyond salvageable. Max is sweeping in the corner when she suddenly stops and looks down at something. "What is it, Max?" I ask. She leans down and picks it up. "It's Plunky," she says. "You found Plunky?" "Yeah," she replies. "I'll see if we have a tank to put him in." I search the closet and find a lone plastic container. It's rather small compared to his old terrarium, but at least he doesn't have to share it. We put some soil and a small water bowl in it and set him inside. "This'll have to do for now," Max says to Plunky. "We'll get you something better when we can." When we're finished cleaning, I sit on the edge of the bed and look across the house. It looks rather sparse and lonesome without 100 animals inhabiting it. We take some time off work to recover and relocate. Our house was far too damaged and too sad to keep living in. Between the hospital bills and the cost of moving, money has been tight, so it's about time we headed back to work. Max is elbow deep in a bush, pulling vines out, when I come running up to her with my hands cupped together. "Look what I found," I say. Max climbs out of the bush and turns around. "What is it?" she asks. I open my hands to reveal the critter inside. "It's a little guy," I say. Once she's done setting it up, she sets it next to the other tank on the dresser. She takes the little ring neck out of the bottle and sets it in its new home. "Plunky, this is Lucy the Handful," Max says, introducing Plunky, which I guess is what she named the ring neck, to its new neighbor, the blue-eyed leucistic ball python in the terrarium next door. Lucy is a menace and would probably eat you given the opportunity, but you're neighbors now, so make friends. Lucy snakes her way up the glass wall to investigate the new creature living beside her. Plunky slithers around and hides behind a rock. I don't think Plunky wants to make friends, I say. Oh, hush, Max replies. He's just shy. If you say so. I look at the snakes on the dresser, then look around our cramped abode. Every dresser, desk, table, and counter has a cage, a fish tank, or some kind of terrarium on it. Everywhere you look there are fish, snakes, newts, lizards, frogs, or toads. Our house is essentially a zoo. Max, I think we're running out of room for critters. There's always more room for critters, she replies dismissively. A few weeks later, we're back working at the house on the riverbank again. I'm pulling weeds when Max comes running towards me with her hands cupped together. Look what I found, she says, opening her hands to show me. I look at it, bewildered. What is it? It's a little guy. It's some kind of amphibian or maybe a reptile. It's hard to tell. It's a slimy little moss-colored creature with a head like a toad and a body like a lizard. I've never seen anything quite like it. Yeah, it's a little guy, but what the heck is it? His name is Pee-wee, and he's a critter. You want to take Pee-wee home with us? Of course. It's too dangerous for a little critter out there in the world all by his lonesome. He could get gobbled up by a bigger critter. But what do Pee-wees even eat? I ask. Smaller critters, probably worms or bugs. Where would we even put it? It's not like we have the extra space for him. He's so little though, he doesn't need a lot of space. We can make room for him. I'm not going to be able to argue my way out of this. Fine, I say, we can keep him, but this is the last one. We really don't have room for any more animals. Several months later, spring has arrived. It's the busy season for us. Most days we're double booked with clients, meaning Max and I are often working at different properties. I'd already finished my job for the day and arrived home before Max. The moment I walk through the door, I bash my foot on a cage sitting in the middle of the room and nearly trip over the thing. That's the third time this week. Goopy starts hissing at me from the cage I just kicked. What are you complaining about? I'm the one who's hurt here. She hisses back at me. Well, maybe move your house if you don't want me to kick it. She glares at me with disgust. Fine, keep your house there if you want. What do I care? I've still got 9 other toes. I couldn't tell you exactly what Goopy is. She's some kind of reptile, a very angry reptile. Max has been busy adding to her creature collection these past few months. I try my best to remember to feed everyone, and to remember what everyone eats, but I couldn't even tell you how many animals are in this house, let alone what half of them even are. Anything Max finds that has a pulse she takes home. Plunky, the ringneck, currently enjoys the company of 20-some other ringnecks who share his terrarium. They all have names, not that I can remember them all or tell them apart. I open a dresser drawer, pulling from it a plastic container full of crickets that live next to my socks, because there isn't anywhere else to keep them. I make my rounds distributing the crickets among the little snakes, toads, and the smaller amphibian and reptile-looking creatures who eat them. Then I give the remaining crickets some seeds and fruit so that they can eat and breed and make more crickets to feed to the other animals. I hand out the worms, the mice, and the rats to whatever eats those. I lift the top of the cage that Lucy the handful lives in and dangle a rat in front of her. She strikes, misses the rat completely, and bites my hand, making me drop the rat. It's not the first time that Lucy has bitten me. The rat skitters around the cage in a panic. I put the lid back on. Lucy will catch it eventually, not like it has anywhere to go. When I'm done feeding the other animals, I feed the mice and rats so that they can grow up and breed and make more mice and rats for the other animals to eat. Circle of life. Everyone is food for someone. Once I'm finally done feeding everyone, I lay down. This bed is the sole place where I can be comfortable in this house, probably because it's the only part of this house that doesn't have a strange creature in or on it, not counting myself. I'm not even laying down a minute when Max walks in the door, carrying a small kennel. I don't even want to know what's in it. Babe, look what I found, Max says, setting the kennel down on the bed next to me. I roll over to see a slimy moss-colored monstrosity staring back at me. It looks a lot like Pee-wee, only smaller. It doesn't look happy. You found another Pee-wee. His name? Little P. I think it's Pee-wee's brother. He was hiding in the same garden where we found Pee-wee. Great. Now he can have a friend, I say with as much enthusiasm as a rock. We'll have to get a bigger cage, one that can fit both of them. Or, and hear me out on this, we can put them both in the same little cage and hope that they have the same temperament as betta fish and kill each other. Of course, that's assuming they're both males. With my luck, they're probably the opposite sex and will just breed and make more peewees. Geez, I'm home 1 minute and you're already sassing me. Sorry, it's just that we already have too many animals. It's already a struggle taking care of them all. We should really consider letting some of them go. No way, they'll die out there. Fine, we can keep him, but no more. We really can't take care of anymore. This is the last one, I promise, Max says. We've had this conversation before. She'll bring home another animal and promise that it's the last one, then come home with another animal a week later. She can't help herself. Has everyone been fed? Max asks. Yes, everyone has been fed. Everyone? She repeats. Yes, Lucy, Bongo, Booger, Goober, Goopy, Blanche, Rose, Dorothy, Sophia, all the rats, frogs, toads, crickets, fish, frogs, lizards, plunkies, and everyone else has been fed. Did you feed Pee-wee? No, Pee-wee is too fat. He needs to lose some weight. You have to feed Pee-wee. He's a growing boy. When we first found Pee-wee, he was small enough to fit in the palm of my hand. Back then, he was happy eating crickets and worms. However, he has grown considerably these past few months. He's not quite the size or a horse, more like a large dog. His appetite has grown considerably as well. Pee-wee can easily devour a family of rats, swallowing them whole and still want more. He sure is growing, I say, growing too big for the kennel he's in. If he gets any bigger, he'll burst right out of it. We'll just have to get a bigger kennel, Max says. Yeah, if we throw the bed out, we might actually have somewhere to put it. Again with the sass. Why are you in such a bad mood tonight? I'm just exhausted, I sigh, staring directly into the eyes of the creature sitting in the cage on the bed in front of me. The next day, when I arrive home from work, Max's truck is already sitting in the driveway. She must have finished her job before me. I open the door and walk in. The fish tank Goopy was in is shattered in 100 pieces across the floor. Goopy isn't there. Max, I shout, are you home? I step carefully over the broken glass, out of the sunroom into the living room. The living room is a disaster. Every cage is knocked over. The terrariums are in shambles. Broken glass, sand, pebbles, and all the decorations are scattered across the dressers and floors. The water from the fish tanks has spilled off the dressers and pooled on the floor. Max, I shout again, where are you? What in the world happened here? I survey the disaster zone. None of the animals appear to be among the clutter. Lucy, Goopy, where did you all go? I take out my phone and call Max. Her phone rings from across the room. It's laying on the bed. I walk over to it, pick it up, and hang up. She's here somewhere, or she was. Her truck was still here when I got home, so she couldn't have gone anywhere. I continue wandering the house, searching each room for Max, for any of the animals, for anything that might provide some kind of hint as to what had happened here. The further back I get in the house, the worse it looks. Every inch of the floor is covered in water and broken glass. There's traces of blood here and there. Someone must have been hurt, but there's no telling who the blood came from. There's still no sign on Max. I can hear a thumping sound coming from the back of the house where the bathroom is. I couldn't hear it from the living room. As I make my way towards the bathroom, the sound grows louder. There's another sound muffled behind the erratic thumping, a high-pitched screeching coming from the same direction. Cautiously, I approach the bathroom. There's a chair fixed under the doorknob, preventing it from being opened from the inside. Did Max put that there, or did someone else? The door rattles violently as if who or whatever is inside is trying to get out. That must be the thumping I was hearing. The screeching also seems to be coming from behind the door. Max, are you in there? I shout, knocking on the door. There's no response, only more violent rattling and screeching. I'm coming in, I say, removing the chair from beneath the doorknob. I reach for the handle, turn the knob, and slowly pull the door open, cautiously peeking through the crack between the door and its frame until I can fully see what is in there. It's Pee-wee. He's running around the bathroom in frantic circles, crashing into the walls, screeching like a banshee. Without the door muffling the sound, that screech is almost deafening. Never before have I heard him make such a noise. Maybe he's hurt. He looks like he's bleeding. There's shards of glass sticking in his back, but more concerning than that, He looks much bigger today than he did yesterday. He must have burst right out of his cage. I watch him through the crack of the door for a minute. He just continues screeching and running around in a frenzy. He must be too panicked to notice me. "Pee-wee," I shout, trying to get his attention. He stops screeching and turns towards me. His eyes fixate on me. I've seen that look in his eyes before. That's exactly how he looks at his food. He unhinges his jaw like a snake, opening his mouth. Blood and saliva pool out. He runs right at me. I slam the door between us as he crashes into the other side. Pee-wee slams into the door again, knocking it open. I catch the door and struggle to push it back against the brute force of the creature on the other side. Pee-wee pokes his head through the gap between the door and its frame. He turns his head to look at me and lets out a hiss. I push with all the force I can muster, slamming the door on his head. Pee-wee shrieks in pain and retreats back into the bathroom. As soon as he's in, I pick up the chair and prop it under the doorknob to barricade him in. I kick aside the broken glass as my feet and slump down on the wet floor next to the door to catch my breath. The moment I sit, the bathroom door rattles again and the screeching commences. That poor excuse for a barricade won't hold him long. He'll rattle it loose or break the door down eventually. Max must have shut him in there somehow, but I still don't know what happened to her, where she is, or if she's even all right. I look around this catastrophe of a house. Did Pee-wee really do all of this? The screeching grows louder, but now it sounds like it's coming from either side of me, as though something else were screeching from the opposite end of the house. Oh shit, I'd completely forgotten about the other one, the one Max had brought home yesterday. Is it still here somewhere? No, it can't be. I've searched this entire house. I would have seen it by now if it were still here. It sounds like it's coming from the front of the house. I walk in the direction of the second screeching, warily making my way through each room until I reach the sun room at the front of the house. It's not in the house. It sounds like it's coming from just outside the front door. Max bursts through the front door carrying the screeching creature. "Max, you're okay?" I say, relieved to see her, but the feeling of relief quickly fades as my eyes fix upon the creature she's holding. "What are you doing with that?" "Little P got out," Max cries. Pee-wee must have gotten out while we were gone. By the time I got home, he had broken into the other cages, and he was eating. Max covers her mouth and cries harder. It must be too horrible to say. Max tries to collect herself and continues. "When I found Pee-wee, he was about to eat Lucy, but she bit him and chased him off." "Lucy? She chased him?" "Yeah, Pee-wee ran in the bathroom to get away from her, so I shut him in. But I must have left the front door open when I got home, cause when I turned around, Lucy was chasing little P out the door." "But where, Lucy now?" I ask. "I don't know. What about everyone else?" "I think Pee-wee." She didn't have to say it. "That's what I feared. He must have eaten them all." "I'm sorry, but I have to ask. Why in the world did you bring that thing back here?" I ask, pointing at the creature in her arms. I didn't know what else to do. I could hear him crying all the way down the street. He just sounded so sad and scared. "That this is dangerous," I shout. "Just look what it did to our house and to all our pets." Little P didn't do anything. It was Pee-wee. "I saw it. How do you know? We were gone all day. How do you know it wasn't both of them? And even if it was all Pee-wee this time, how do you know that little P wouldn't do the exact same thing?" The ground begins to shake. A loud, low-pitched bellow echoes from the distance. Any other emotions we may have been feeling a moment ago were suddenly replaced with dread and confusion. "What the heck was that?" I ask. Max just looks at me, dumbfounded. The ground shakes again. The bellowing sound commences. It sounds louder this time. Whatever is making that sound is getting closer. Little P wriggles frantically, freeing himself from Max's arms and falling to the floor. The frantic creature skitters out the open door. Max runs out after it. The shaking becomes more violent. The bellowing sounds like it's right outside. I'm about to follow Max when something slams and crashes from the back of the house. I turn around to look. Pee-wee is running towards me. Before I can even move, he zooms right past me and out the door. I'd prefer to just let him and little P run away. And I really don't want to find whatever is making that awful bellowing noise. But Max is out there, so I have to go. I run outside and am hit with a stench so profound that I retch over in disgust, nearly throwing up. It smells like 1,000 wet dogs rolling around in warm shit on a hot day. I look up at the source of the stench, the bellowing, and the shaking ground. A towering monstrosity, larger than a house, is walking up the street in my direction. It looks like Pee-wee, or rather how Pee-wee might look to an ant. The ground shakes with every step it takes. Pee-wee and Little P are running down the street towards it, Max following close behind. I shout as loud as I can, "Max, get away from that thing." She can't hear me. With the overwhelming sounds of the screeching, the bellowing, and the shaking earth, my voice is useless. The closer that thing gets, the worse it smells. I can't hold it in. I throw up in my mouth, but I can't hesitate. I swallow my vomit and take off in a mad sprint after them. I just have to catch up to Max and get her away from that thing. She's keeping pace with Little P, but he's managing to stay just out of her reach. Pee-wee trails closely behind Max. I'm closing the distance, but that monster is nearly upon them. Telephone poles and trees topple over as it walks by them, the parked cars lining the streets flatten under its feet. Cracks ripple across the street under the sheer weight of the behemoth. Little P comes to a halt. Pee-wee rushes ahead. Max catches up to Little P, lifting him into her arms. I finally catch up to them. The ground shakes again, nearly knocking us off our feet. A shadow creeps over us. We look up in horror. The monster is right in front of us. "Max, we have to go," I say, grabbing her by the arm. She's frozen with fear. "I think that's their mom. She must have heard them screaming and come looking for her babies. You have to let Little P go." Max looks down somberly and the creature in her arms. I can tell she doesn't want to let it go. "Just let him go," I repeat. The monster crouches down to look at us. Its head alone is bigger than my body. It could easily swallow a person whole. Its eyes fix upon Max. Max stares back at it. "It's for the best, Max. It's what he wants." "Okay," she says, kneeling down and setting Little P on the ground. Little P turns around and looks at Max. "Go home, Little P," she says. "Be good." Little P skitters away behind his mom. The monster's gaze drifts from Max and fixes upon me. It slowly opens its mouth, baring its teeth. It releases a thunderous roar so powerful it knocks us off our feet, sending us tumbling backwards. My body ricochets down the street, scraping across the asphalt until I come to a stop. Bloody and battered, I roll over onto my knees and look over at Max laying in the street next to me. Her eyes are closed. She's not moving. I crawl over to Max and put my hands on her shoulders. "Max, get up," I plead. The monster steps towards us. Pee-wee runs out from behind it and dashes towards us. I scoop Max up in my arms and try to gather the strength to lift her, but my battered body fails me. They're closing in on us. Even if I could lift Max, there's no way I'd be able to outrun these creatures in my condition. I gently lay Max back down and step in front of her. "Go home," I shout at the behemoth. "You have your kids, just leave." Shouting does no good, but there's little else I can do. I pick a stone off the ground and pelt it at the monster. Excruciating pain runs through my arm at the mere motion. The stone bounces right off its face. It continues forward, unflinching. I doubt it even felt that. I lean down to pick up another stone when Pee-wee jumps on me, knocking me to the ground. I struggle to hold him off as he tries to bite at me, his teeth inching towards my face. He hisses at me, or I thought he was hissing at me. His face is right in front of mine, but I can see now that that hissing didn't come from him. Lucy the handful strikes. Her fangs dig into Pee-wee's neck. She snaps back, hissing, preparing to strike again. Pee-wee jumps off of me and runs away screeching. Lucy chases after him. The behemoth's gaze drifts from me towards the screeching Pee-wee. It slowly turns and begins to follow its screeching child, Little P following behind. I lay on the ground, exhausted. I turn my head towards Max. She's still laying unmoving.